In the fertile Jordan Valley, nestled amidst lush plains, stood the bustling cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. By day, they were vibrant hubs of commerce and life, but as shadows lengthened, a deep moral decay, a darkness of the soul, revealed itself, reaching the heavens and stirring the very heart of God. Far from the city's clamor, a righteous man named Abraham walked and talked with God. Hearing of the coming judgment, his heart ached for the people. "Will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked?" he pleaded. "What if there are 50 righteous people in the city? Will you not spare the place for the sake of the 50? The Lord, in his infinite mercy, agreed. But what if there were 40, or 30, or 20? Widich ple Abraham, a mere mortal, bargained with the Almighty, his love for humanity shining brightly. Finally, he asked, "What if only 10 are found there?" And God replied, "For the sake of 10, I will not destroy it." The stage was set. The fate of 2 cities hung on the presence of just 10 righteous souls. As twilight descended upon Sodom, 2 strangers, appearing as ordinary travelers, entered the city gates. These were no mere men. They were angels sent by God on a mission of judgment and rescue. Lot, Abraham's nephew, sat by the gate, and recognizing a duty to protect travelers from the city's predatory nature, rose to meet them. He bowed low and insisted, "My lords, please, turn aside to your servant's house. You can wash your feet and spend the night, and then go on your way early." Reluctantly, the angels agreed and entered Lot's home. He prepared a feast for them, a small act of kindness in a city devoid of it. But before they could lie down for the night, the house was surrounded. Men from every part of the city, young and old, pounded on the door. Their voices a venomous chorus. "Where are the men who came to you tonight?" they shouted. "Bring them out to us, so that we can have our way with them." The depravity of Sodom was now laid bare, a grotesque display of its inner corruption. Lot, desperate to protect his guests, stepped outside, closing the door behind him. "No, my friends," he begged. "Don't do this wicked thing." In his panic, he made a terrible offer, willing to sacrifice his own daughters to appease the mob's lust. But the crowd was relentless. They surged forward, shouting, "This fellow came here as a foreigner, and now he wants to play the judge. We'll treat you worse than them." They rushed to Lot, ready to break down the door. Suddenly, the door opened. The angelic visitors pulled Lot back inside and slammed it shut. They then struck the men outside with a blinding light, causing them to stumble and grope in confusion. Unable to find the entrance, the divine power of the guests was finally revealed. Inside, the atmosphere was thick with urgency. "Do you have anyone else here?" the angels asked Lot. "Sons-in-law, sons or daughters, or anyone else in the city who belongs to you. Get them out of here, because we are going to destroy this place. The outcry to the Lord against its people is so great that he has sent us to destroy it." Lot rushed out into the night, a messenger of doom. He found the men pledged to marry his daughters and warned them, "Hurry and get out of this place, because the Lord is about to destroy the city." But they just laughed. To them, he sounded like he was telling a joke. The moral rut was so deep, they couldn't even recognize a warning from God. Their hearts were hardened beyond saving. As the first light of dawn painted the eastern sky, the angels' urgency intensified. "Hurry," they said to Lot. "Take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here, or you will be swept away when the city is punished." But Lot hesitated. He was a man torn his life. His home, his possessions were all here. He lingered, paralyzed by indecision. Seeing his fatal hesitation, the angels seized him, his wife, and his 2 daughters by the hands. In an act of profound mercy, the Lord's intervention propelled them forward, pulling them safely out of the city. Once clear of the gates, one of the angels commanded, "Flee for your lives. Don't look back, and don't stop anywhere in the plain. Flee to the mountains, or you will be swept away." The instruction was clear, absolute, and a test of ultimate obedience. As the sun rose over the land, Lot and his family ran. the sounds of the waking city fading behind them. And then it began. The Lord rained down fire and burning sulfur from the heavens upon Sodom and Gomorrah. A storm of divine judgment, terrifying and absolute, consumed everything. The sky turned black with smoke and ash, and the screams of the city were swallowed by a deafening, fiery roar. The vibrant plains were transformed into a desolate, smoldering wasteland. The cities, with all their inhabitants, their buildings, and even the vegetation of the plain, were utterly obliterated. The wickedness that had cried out to heaven was silenced forever. But in the midst of this desperate flight, a tragedy of disobedience unfolded. Lot's wife, her heart still tied to the life she was leaving behind, faltered. Perhaps it was curiosity, perhaps regret, or perhaps a longing for the world she knew. Against the explicit command of the angel, she looked back. In that single fateful moment of disobedience, her flight from judgment ended. She was instantly transformed, becoming a pillar of salt, a stark and silent monument to the consequence of a divided heart and a longing glance at a condemned world. From the safety of the mountains, Lot and his 2 daughters looked down upon the scene of utter devastation. Where thriving cities once stood, only thick smoke rose from the land, like smoke from a furnace. They were the sole survivors of the plain, saved not by their own merit, but by God's mercy and his remembrance of Abraham's faithful plea. The story of Sodom and Gomorrah is a chilling and powerful testament. It serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of sin when it is allowed to fester and corrupt an entire culture. But it's not just a story of judgment. It is equally a story of God's incredible mercy. He was willing to spare 2 entire cities for the sake of just 10 righteous people. He sent his angels to physically pull a hesitating family to safety. This ancient account challenges us to reflect on our own lives. Are we living as righteous lights in a darkening world? Do we heed God's warnings and obey his commands without looking back at the things he has called us to leave behind? The story teaches us that God's justice is real and his judgment is certain, but his desire to save is even greater. It calls us to a life of obedience, faith, and complete trust in the one who holds both justice and mercy in his hands. Thank you for joining us on this journey through one of Scripture's most dramatic narratives. If this story has moved you, please give this video a like, share it with others, and comment below with your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe to Faith Bible for more deep dives into the timeless stories of the Bible. See you in the next video.